All right, we are recording as the head referee, Carson, is talking to the commissioner of the league, making sure that the right call was made on the field. Both penalties, again, we had a player on the Whites and a player on the Badgers. Looks like Todd is waving to Mom, or is... Nope, he's just trying to get the flag, make sure everything is moving forward here. Penalties being discussed. Very disappointing for the Badgers. They had a very dominant presence on that play, but were unable to get into the box clean. So it looks like Harley is talking about his strategy to lock down the field here. So flag to Jordan. David around the outside in that support position in that corner bunker. As Trevor Hollenbeck is in the Dorito, or the snake side corner bunker for the Whites. As Jordan making a big move up the middle of the field, getting into that car wash, trying to get into that 50 bunker on the outside there. Andrew Geese filling out to the corner to try to lock down that run. Jordan was able to make it into that 50 bunker. Now he's shooting down the outside, engaged in a gun battle with Andrew Geese down the tape, who is trying to lock him down again. Jordan has the flag as the offensive player. As Trevor Hollenbeck slides into position at this 50 Dorito, he's getting a lot of attention. David Wilson coming up next to him. Looks like all four players are up into the midfield as Todd Mork is going to double up that middle bunker. As David Wilson walks in, it's all up to Andrew Geese as he has taken a shot on the head. And probably a shot in the loader. He's walking out.
Up the field!
Now Jordan is going to make sure that he gets this flag into scoring position. They've got to check him out. We've had one or two penalties today already for dirty hangs, so he's got to keep progress, got to keep forward progress. All right, he's in the scoring box. It looks like they've got another point on the board. The buzzer has blown. Let's wait for the signal from the referees. They're checking them out. Going to look for hits and then chronograph his gun, and then once everything checks out, they're going to put their arms up and signal that as a point scored. Check is done. Let's get a couple of shots on the chronograph, making sure he's shooting under 300 feet per second. And the point is signaled as good. Points for the Whites. They are now up 3-2 up on the Badgers here, right in the middle of the third quarter of the game here in the second half. Harley Grinder signaling for a quick start. So the Whites, all right, tower buzzes 10-second warning as the Whites are hustling to get into their start box. Badgers are ready to go. 3-second buzzer. Harley Grinder going up into the middle of the field, getting into that car wash. Now he's just going to make things happen for himself, checking his equipment, making sure he's good to go. He's got his players behind him, talking a lot. Oh, Harley Grinder took that shot. Now it's up to one of these players to try to get to that flag within 20 seconds. Looks like they do have somebody stepping up and making that happen. He's checking himself out. He's got the flag on his gun. So he is good to go. But again, now the focus is going to switch on the Whites to that Badgers player. Looks like Donnie's trying to pot up in that mirror bunker as the Badgers are filling on the outside, lending support to him. And it's been a few seconds since that flag was brought up there first. He's got to get out of this bunker. If they trap him in, he will not be able to score that point. The coach is signaling for him to move on the outside. Signaling for a paint check. The ref is in there checking him out. Looks like he's clean. The ref is now signaling that he's been eliminated. He got out there in time, so the flag is dead.
Hey, 22!
And we've got to get a player in here again. There we go, answered the call. Getting him in there. Picking that flag up. He's got to get off to the outside, but one thing he needs to do is get the flag actually attached to his gun. You're not allowed to move up the field with the flag in your hand, so he actually has to attach that to his gun or in some way hold it in the front, which I guess is what they're going to have him do as long as he's staying in the bounds. He got a kill on the middle of the field with Donnie walking out, so now it's up to the back left and back right. Time expired. The play is over, and the Badgers again unable to produce and score. The score is still 3-2 in the favor of the Badgers, or 3-2 in the favor of the Whites. So the Whites definitely able to get something going together in this second half. A lot of confidence from them, very good body language, lots of intensity coming off both sides of the field. That is the end of the third quarter. So we're going into our final quarter of play here in just a few minutes. All the players getting their hits wiped off, making sure everything's taken care of. David Wilson getting everybody back into the huddle here, getting a little bit of last-minute game plan before the final quarter of play. And I'm going to see if I can't get some insight here for you, let you know what's going on. Everybody's getting shuffled around in here. We've got Trevor and Jordan coming in to join him. Lots of love for his teammates, making sure they're staying well motivated. Let's see if I can get some insight for you guys.
Stretch out these offensive points. Stretch them out. Play the defense when we're playing it. Make those offensive points as long as possible. Start cutting down the time. You know how quick these quarters are going.
Yeah.
I mean, it was halftime, and we were like, we haven't played a whole game yet. Yeah. You know, it's like it felt like we played the whole game already.
This is when he shuts down.
Huh?
This is when he shuts down.
I know. Hey, we got to stay on him. Offense, we're not going to do anything crazy. We're going to move it up the field. We're going to take as much time for each line as possible.
Yeah.
Draw out that time.
Yeah.
Defense, you know they're going to come hard at us.
Yeah.
You know, they're starting to get desperate, so look for those dumb moves.
Yeah.
Those long runs to, you know, this burrito to that burrito.
Yeah.
They're getting chopped up all game long. Look how many boxes of paint we have left. We have a big break before our next game. That's all got to be gone.
Yep. Shoot it off. We don't shoot it off. We're practicing.
Yeah.
Are they gonna give you that count thing? Don't they do it at the end of third? Isn't that
At least
fair?
always do one
get
ball.
us
on
a
it.
count from the
You know, if
rest.
you're watching a lane, just keep one ball going. And you
They
don't
should
have
have
to-
it in their
They should have it.
going, you know?
Just in case.
Yeah.
I think we're all right. How many is Donnie?
Donnie, I don't know, because like I didn't play that whole quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep it there. All right, we gotta get keep an eye on your peaks and your pod, you know, just
You and Donnie, you guys.
So the last little bit of discussion that we caught there, they're talking about the minimum play rule for players, and they were talking about Eddie Osborne and Donnie specifically. Now, the way that this league is set up is because of the entry fees that all the players play and the way that the draft system is initiated, that they want to make sure that every player gets a fair chance to play as much time as they need during the game to get their full money's worth and excitement out of this format. And so the referees are going to let each coach know if any of the players need to play more points by the end of the game to make sure that they reach that limit. So unfortunately, if a team has a player that does not play the minimum point requirement, the team actually forfeits the game if they are unable to get all of their players into the minimum. So you see the mood has changed a little bit here over on the Badgers side of things. A little bit somber, but definitely not out of the running yet. Again, only down by 1 point, and this is a relatively high-scoring game that we see on this field, especially on a layout that's as intense as this. We got the 2-minute warning. Let's get a little bit of insight here from coach and player Harley Grinder, making sure his team is back into the thick of things.
D3, who's on D3? Me. We need one more D3. I will. Okay. Is that Dennis?
Yeah.
Curly, what defense are you on? What is D3? Me. Okay. It's all about you. That works. Thank you.
All right, definitely a somber moment over there in the pit of the Badgers. They were not expecting the Whites to come out that hard and put points on the board like that. So it looks like they've probably got a warning for Eddie Osborne and Donnie. They're both on the field here. They're going to make sure that they get that minimum point requirement per game to make sure that they don't have to run into any penalties later on here. Coach Brian Albin making sure that his team is ready to go for the start of this last quarter.
Okay. I want you to have the play.
Guard?
Yes. Your bump is right there. At that can. You can.
Which one, the stubby?
The stubby. Not the little round with the big fat one. That's your bump.
You want Jordan in for these long points?
35 has 6, right?
No, 43.
Yeah, has
What
5.
about 35?
35 has 6.
I need 35. Here you guys flag. No, not this one. I gotta get you guys play.
I know.
Oh. Yeah, next go around.
All right, 30-second warning has sounded from the tower as the Whites have the flag on the field. They're looking to get another point on the board, making sure that all their players meet that minimum point requirement as the Badgers are lining up on one of their more solid fort, with the exception of Harley Grinder out here, and they're going to try to put a lockdown on the field and make sure that they can stop this Whites assault. All right, 3 guns up for the Badgers. Looks like no kills off the break as Donnie serving up a little bit of tea here, trying to get something going on in that mark. He's signal eliminated by the referee, shot in the face, which is never where you want to get shot, but Todd making that big dive up into the middle. Unable to make it in clean, got shot in the leg on the way in. So we've got David Wilson in the corner here, and it looks like Eddie Osborne on the far side. Now they've got to get into that middle bunker. They've only got about 10 seconds left to get to that flag. Signaled, 20-second buzzer was blown. They were not able to recover the flag successfully because Todd was eliminated on his way into grabbing that, so that 20-second clock just kept on ticking, and it looks like the Badgers are trying to get the flag immediately. I expect them to signal for a quick start as soon as they get ready. The Whites are getting back on the field. Let's make sure the Whites get all their hits wiped off. So they're getting on. Donnie and Eddie both back on the field, along with Trevor Hollenbeck and David Wilson, making sure that everybody gets their spins in here today and keeping their more dominant players on the field. Again, Trevor and David probably going to split this field up, sending one to each side to lock it down and try to limit the movement of the Badgers. So we've got Andrew Gies here on the Badgers, which is a very important aspect to this team. I know he's been playing paintball for a few years now, but he's never really been competitive until recently. But I'll tell you what, this kid soaks everything up like a sponge. Very, very good at listening, very good at learning from Harley Grinder. He's a very good coach and mentor who, when I started playing here, was able to mentor me up, get me up to speed, up to competitive level as they're signaling for the 10-second quick start.
There's an extra one on this.
All right, 10-second quick start initiated as they're going to send the, looks like they're going to send the flag to this side of the field. Unless we've got, nope, sending him to the far side, making sure he gets a little bit of momentum. The flag is in the car wash. Flag player's in the 50 there. He's gun battling the player here in this Dorito, as well as the corner, so he's definitely got a lot of work to do before he's able to score. Now it is a little bit risky to get this far up in the field at the beginning of the game because it's very easy for players to move up and get around behind you. So it looks like the Badgers still have 4 players alive. Flag holder is checking himself out, making sure that he's alive. He's been signaled clean by the referee, so he's staying in the game here, trying to get some work in. The referee coming in to check a player on the far side there, looking at Donnie, making sure he's clean. Andrew Gies has made the big move from the back middle up into that 50A. He's got his eyes wide open, looking for some gun battles, making sure that he's supporting his player on the side of the field. Absolutely pounding on those 2 pill bunkers, which are designed to stop that bunker and lock it down. You see he's got his gun on the inside, he's looking on the outside, keeping aware, dropped a pod, making sure he's up. They've got the kill out of that inside car wash here. Donnie has been signaled eliminated. They've got the paint check coming here. Trevor Hollenbeck has got his gun up, making sure he can't wrap it. Now it looks like all 3 Badgers players are up in the middle of the field, all along the red zone and the 50-yard line. Here's Harley Grinder battling his way down the outside of the field. This is not somebody that you want to gun battle, especially when he's in a good mood. Time has expired for the play. The Badgers got stuck in that far 50 bunker. We're not able to move it past that point until 45 seconds allowed to score. But the Whites have definitely got in. Plays they need. Only a couple minutes left in the game here.
The only way you're going to get better here, take 2.
A little bit of,
you guys are going to be the one winner for us in the championship.
A lot of good leadership coming from David Wilson here, making sure that his team is ready to bear the brunt of the assault here, making sure everybody gets enough play time so that they're ready for the postseason, which it looks like they might be able to pull off depending on how the score ends up, but the Whites are definitely looking to pull a 4-0 here as far as the league record goes. David Wilson very confident. Looks like the Whites have taken a timeout, making sure that they know the players' score. Everybody's getting in the right amount of points. From what I remember, sounds like there may or may not be 3.5 minutes left in the game. Something like that has been called from the tower. So we're going to figure out exactly what's going on here, but we've got a timeout from the Whites, and they're just making sure that they've got all their ducks in a row as far as the minimum player count. David Wilson taking a little bit of a breather, getting back off to the field again, passing the torch to some of his younger players. But anytime you've got Todd Mork on the field that we've seen today, he might not be the smallest or the fastest, but he's one of the smartest players on the field that you'll see. Anytime that the Whites have that flag dropped down and they need to get somebody up there to recover it, he's always the first to volunteer himself and get up into the mix. More often than not, he makes it in clean and recovers that point. Wasn't able to do it that last play here, but has been very solid about that all season. Very, very aggressive in his demeanor. Very good posture. He's been playing for a very long time. David Wilson again is hanging out here. Brian Albin looking for information. Was not able to get into the box in time for that 10-second warning like I was talking about earlier. So the Whites have to start with only 3 bodies, unfortunately. So the Badgers on a power play. Oh, Harley Grinder shot on the front of the loader trying to get into his opening bunker. So a good shot off the break by Todd Mork, shooting straight back and able to kill Harley Grinder. Now this may be exactly what the Whites need to get another point on the board. So again, we've got the flag here on the far side. Car wash. Todd Mork on the inside car wash helping him lock it down. They're both past that fast line. They've got 45 seconds to cross this second line, get into the red zone and pass the 50. They got the kill out of the left corner. Now he's going to be able to get into this middle bunker and he's going to wrap around the left side. Pot up, wrap around. He's got a free shot at the back. Eddie is going to get some free kills here. Lock it down, Eddie. Here we go. He's just going to stay in this gun battle, but not to overexert himself too much.
You got him, you got him, you got him, you got him.
Flags down!
Back right, Ollie. Back right, get Todd.
Looks like the flag is not down. Point is still consuming. They've only got one more kill. They've got to close out this back right corner.
Jordan, go!
All right, now Jordan has got to just run down the field, and all he's got to do is cross that line, check himself out.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
David Wilson ready to get another round of guys out on the field. Expecting the quick start from the Badgers as the referees are checking out Jordan here, making sure he doesn't have any hits, and they're going to chronograph his gun, make sure he's clean. The point has been signaled as good and will be awarded to the Whites for Jordan. The score is now, I believe, 4-2 in favor of the Whites with only a few minutes left here on the game. Todd Mark definitely getting excited. These guys are really starting to feel it now. This is right where they want to be. The Badgers look like they're starting to get a little bit frustrated, but not entirely flustered. So it might not get too dirty here, which is good to see. The Whites, their spirits are definitely up. They're looking to get back into the mix of things and lock it down. And they've got a lot of paint to shoot today. A couple of boxes still full at the bottom here with assistant coach and head pit crew manager Steve Albin, making sure that he's got everybody's gear up to snuff and all their paint's full, that nobody needs anything for points. Making sure everybody's got points on, and Coach Brian Albin making sure no nonsense. Everybody's got pods, everybody's got their hits wiped. Does not want to run into any more issues like they had in the beginning of the day here. So the Badgers are, they've got a player live in the box, ready for the 10-second start to blow. But they've got to get 3 more players on there. By the time that whistle blows, they might run into the same issue that the Whites had the last point. But they were able to score on that power play, which is something you don't very often see, especially when the offense starts a man down. But that big kill off the break by Todd Mork, again, a very powerful gun to have. Shot Harley Grinder off of the break before he was even able to make it into his initial bunker. Now we've got a 2-minute timeout called. I'm going to see if I can't get a little bit more insight here, try to get into the spirit of the game here. Off the side, guys are walking off the field, getting that last breather before the last set of points here. We got a 2-minute timeout again that was called by the Badgers, trying to ice the Whites a little bit, shake them up and trying to ruin their momentum. But Todd Mork dancing around, I can tell he's smiling behind that mask. Everybody's in a good mood here. Coach Brian Albin's making sure everything's running smooth. Everybody's got the game plan. Everybody in here is looking to try to hold this lead. And again, there's only about a minute or so left in the game here. These guys are making sure they shake out the last of their bumps, getting nice and limber. They've got a lot of work to do. Because as we saw in the beginning of this second half, it is not very hard for a team to turn around momentum and get some points on the board here. Now the refs are coming together, making sure they've got everything in a line. Everybody's on the same page here, making sure they've got a nice clean game.
Secret meeting. Feedback, please.
So evidently it's a top secret meeting. And I went to the no-fly zone and was warned, but I am safe again. I don't think I'll get a penalty pulled. I don't know if that's a penalty.
So close to killing you.
I was almost killed, actually. It looks like the head ref pulled out an AA gun and was about to shoot at my plane as I entered the no-fly zone, but I have been given a free pass to the top secret meeting, which is evidently in another language. These referees are communicating, it sounds like, entirely mentally. So that's why they're so worked up on the field now. These flags are flying exactly when they need to.
God.
These guys are clicked in perfectly. They don't even have to speak to each other in order to get information across.
I love you so much.
I feel so loved. I do. I feel so loved.
But you can go now.
But it sounds like my invitation is out. The United Nation of Referees has signaled that I need to vacate the field, and so does the 10-second buzzer. Game start, or play start. The Badgers have moving the flag to the far side of the field, which is something we have not seen all day. So definitely a new way that Harley Grinder's trying to switch it up here, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it out again. He's already been shot in the mask. Referee signal for the elimination. Flag is down at the Dorito. We've got Brian Albin signaling it, and now all these Whites players have to do is just keep painting this line. But see, it does not look like they made the shot. Looks like he made it through that gap to get to the flag safely. So they were able to recover it, but they, again, have not yet crossed that line. And they've only got 45 seconds to cross that white line in order to keep the game clock running. And it looks like that's the end of the 45 seconds. That is the end of the play. The Badgers were unable to make any forward progress at all, as the Whites just seem to have this field dialed down. They're getting their kills in off the break when they need to. 1 minute, 41 seconds left in the game as Brian Albin is making sure that all the players he needs are on the field and ready for one of their final offensive pushes. Getting Donnie up on the field, getting some reps in for him, young player. Making sure that he's getting some more experience so that he's ready for the postseason, which it looks like the Whites are about to head into with a 4-0 record if they can hold this lead for 1 minute and 41 seconds. Now, they do have the flag, so what I would recommend for this team is to just play it smart. I would wait the probably 40, 43 seconds, and then I would cross that line, and I'd just wait in the middle of the field. If they can get a player past this first line here within, say the first 40 seconds or so, if they just stop up into this line and then hold it out, they can absolutely run down the entire game clock if they play it right. But, we'll have to see what pace they bring, and if Harley Grinder and the Badgers are going to try to get their claws out and try to rip that flag out to get another couple of chances for them to put points on the board, which, they did very well the first couple of quarters, but things just kind of fell apart for them a little bit in the second half. Their demeanor was a little bit shaken, but again, these guys very, very capable of doing anything that they need to put their minds to in order to secure a win. 10-second buzzer has sounded. The Whites are ready in their start box, and here comes the point. All right, it looks like the Badgers are crying for a penalty for a false start, which we might have seen there, but it has not been signaled by the referees. So the point will continue playing. Andrew Geese absolutely annihilated out of that back corner. Harley Grinder up in the middle here trying to lock things down as Eddie Osborne was shot out of the car wash on the outside. Looks like the flag is at the car wash. They've got to get a player in there calling himself out.
Hey, center car wash, Hershey. 2 car washes. 22. Both car washes.
All right. So now it looks like David Wilson has to make a move here to try to get that flag before the 20 seconds expires. Oh, nope, it looks like the flag is actually on the outside, hidden away. He's moving up the middle of the field. Very interesting attempt, did not make it. The flag is still, it looks like it fell off right on the outside of that inside car wash there. So David Wilson just really has to make a run to get out there, kind of no matter what happens. He's just going to stay in here and do whatever, get shot in the loader. I guess that was part of his game plan, but the clock is going to run down. Here we go, here's the whistle, the end of the point. All of the offensive players are dead. Again, the Badgers did a very good job of locking down those lanes that the Whites are trying to move the flag through, but we'll see if it was enough or if it's...
27 seconds left in the game.
All right, 27 seconds left in the game. So the Badgers absolutely need to run down the field. I expect Harley Grinder to come up and do what is called a cheetah.
Badgers 2.
So Badgers 2, Whites 4 with only 27 seconds left in the game. It doesn't look like there's anything that the Badgers can really do about it, even though they do have possession of the flag. They really have to sprint down the field and try to get that point. I expect this to be exciting, but the only chance that they have is to have all 4 guns up and run down the middle of the field. Just try to blow players out. Again, it worked for me a couple times last year. I was able to actually get all 4 kills off the break and score that point. Happened a couple times. Harley Grinder is trying to catch up to that mark. I know he was beating himself up last year because he couldn't quite pull anything together as smoothly as that player, Griffin Spanner, who was on Storm last year. You remember that kid, right?
I
I remember some joker like that, you know.
Some goofy kid.
We need to run like a 4-man, like a flying meat shield up the field. Like just...
Yes, that is, I hope, what we're going to see right here, where we should get some of the bigger players. Harley Grinder and anybody else over there just needs to run in front, try to get that flag in, but they need to have their guns up. They cannot spend any time in these back bunkers. They absolutely need to run full force forward. It looks like they're getting ready, all 4 guns up. They might be sending a runner, but this may be a very exciting play. Standard breakout, they will not have time. This is absolutely not what they need to see. Player got shot in the face on the way up. Harley Grinder's gonna make it into that 50 Dorito, or to that 50 bunker. Looks like he's clean. Andrew Gees got torn up a little bit on the outside, but again, Harley Grinder is hanging out in the middle there. A little bit of excitement here on the sidelines. Player contact, which is definitely not allowed, but, you know, ref didn't see it, it didn't happen. That's the way things work here. But all they've got to do is wait a few more seconds, and then the game is over. Todd Mork is going to come around. Was not able to get that kill. David Wilson just has to wait. So we've got David Wilson in this back corner here. He's going to cross it up with Eddie Osborne. And all they've got to do is pinch in Harley Grinder, who it looks like is the last. Yep, looks like that's the last of it for the Badgers. The flag is down at the middle. No players are making that rush to get it. It's definitely been 27 seconds, so they're waiting for the game clock to expire here. Here we go. David Wilson dropping his gun, which you are allowed to do. Comes up and grabs the flag, which should signal the end of the game. And that is the last point. 4-0 is the record for the Whites here. David Wilson definitely excited about that. So David, how did you feel going into that last play, trying to cinch it up? Much love for those of you watching. He's definitely excited. Lots of congratulations going on the side of the field. Referees figuring out what's going on, making sure they've got it all cinched up, but that definitely sounded like 27 seconds to me. So that about wraps it up here at Red Dot Paintball for game day 4. It looks like the Badgers and the Whites are going to line up for handshakes and maybe a little bit of trash talking. But I'm going to see if I can't get down and get a little bit of input.
Final score, Whites 4, Badgers 2.
All right, looks like I've got exactly 1 minute left worth of battery life here on the camera, which is just enough to report to you that the final score was the Red Dot Whites, Red Dot Badgers. The score of the game is 4-2 in favor of the Whites, who now go to a 4-0 lead, leaving the Badgers in the dust with a 2-2 record going into the break in the mid-season. So they definitely were able to put something together, definitely came up. Brian, how did you feel about that last half? He is still excited and celebrating and not talking to me still. So Corey, with what little battery life I've got, how did you feel watching that last half there?
I thought the Badgers was going to bring a little bit more, but I knew the Whites were going to hold it down, drag it out.
Yep, just like we saw there. All right, well, good call, obviously, by Corey Marks here, making sure that he's got the on-field action cam going on there. A little bit more congratulations. The coach, Brian Albin, making sure all of his teammates are well congratulated for their finish here up, and they are ready to go into the mid-season break. So we'll catch you again in a few months once the weather clears up again and we get some more points on the board. And then looks like the Whites are in position to go out into the playoffs. If they win one more game, they will clinch up the series. The only thing that can happen here is that if the Badgers win their next 2 games, which will be against Storm and against Reds. So they've got to win both of those games in order to catch up to the White score, which would make it 4-2 for their record. But again, if the Whites win any more games from here to the rest of the season, which will be against Storm and then another game against the Reds, which they have already beat in the past, if they can pull those together, then they will have clinched the season and be moving on to the championship game, which I will hopefully catch up for you. Unfortunately, I will be in Spain for the remainder of the season. I will not be able to help guide you through the rest of these games unless some scheduling times around. I might be able to slip in for the makeup game that was rescheduled for this morning, but this is Griffin Spanner. For those of you who are just signing out here, definitely thanks for watching, and we will be uploading this footage as soon as possible to get this back up for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you later.